Hey everybody, back again with you for the 7th video out of the series I'll be doing on upgrades and accessories to my AR-15. This is the Smith and Wesson M&P15T or Tactical. As I mentioned, this is the 7th video, so if you haven't seen my prior videos, feel free to jump out to my channel and check those out. This video is going to be covering a real quick and easy upgrade that you can do to your AR-15. Some people feel it's necessary, some people feel it's not. It's kind of a mixed emotions on the accessory, but it's the trigger guard. The current trigger guard, as you can see here, is just kind of a flat. It is aluminum, and a lot of people, what they find with this, especially for myself, is I live in a cold weather state, so trying to fit a glove into the trigger guard there is a little bit more difficult and puts a little bit more undue pressure on that trigger than I'd really feel comfortable doing. So in order to get around that, what I've done is I picked up one of these Magpul MOE Trigger Guards. It's just a polymer drop-in replacement, runs about $10 on Amazon.com. It's gotten very good reviews. You do have to be very careful when you're installing this, and I'll kind of touch bases on that as I show you how we do that. But ultimately, it just gives you more room there in the trigger guard, so you're able to put, again, a glove finger in there and be a little bit more safe with the pressure that's being put on that trigger. So the model number for this Magpul one is MAG417BLK. It did come with instructions on how to install it in this pamphlet here, although it's pretty self-explanatory, just a couple pins that you drive out and replace with the pins that they give you, which is right here. And then they also sent you a nice little sticker here, a Magpul sticker, which is kind of cool. So, and then obviously the trigger guard itself. What I'm going to do is pull the gun down here. I'm going to take off my Magwell grip, as that's covering the front pin that I'll need to take out. I'm also going to separate the upper from the lower. I'm not going to go ahead and get into how to do that. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that operation. So ultimately what we'll be left with is just a lower receiver without the Magwell grip and without the magazine. So let's go ahead and pull her down and we'll take a look at it from there. Alright guys, so I got the upper removed from the lower receiver, and I removed my Magwell grip, so essentially I'm left with the lower receiver. And as you can notice, I have there's a pin up here and a pin back here. I already started driving out the rear pin, but essentially what you want to first do is take this tension pin in the front here, and you can use anything. I don't actually have a punch that small, so what I'll do is I'm just going to push down on the front pin because it's just tension, spring tension in there, and then pull it out, and what you'll notice is just kind of, as you can see, clips in there more or less. So with that depressed, then what you're able to do is then go back with a punch and punch through this rear pin. Mine is really super tight. Just be very careful that when you're punching it, that you're not going to break off the things that hold the pin in there. If you break that off, you're gonna, that's part of your lower receiver, so it's just going to be a mess having to try to fix something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here real quick, and we'll take a look at putting it on then. Alright guys, so as you can see here, I got the old original trigger guard off. I got the new trigger guard here that I'm going to be putting on it. What you want to do to put this new trigger guard on is go ahead and start with your rear pin, and you're just going to go ahead and make sure that those lines are lined up real nicely. And they did give you a new pin to go ahead and push through and use that as the connection. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and punch that through here real quick. Okay, so as you can see, I got the rear pin set it in there real nicely, real tight. What I'm going to do is go ahead and work on the front pin here, and they do provide you a screw pin, and they want to use a 1/16 inch hex screw. And when you are putting it in here, just be very careful that you're not using too much torque. You don't want to over torque it, as you can strip that out and you won't most likely be able to get it out again. So just be very careful on that. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick, and we'll set her all back up again and take a look at what it's like for the finished product. Alright guys, so I got it installed, buttoned back up, the gun put back together. Looks like it turned out real nice. You can see there I got a little bit more of an indent there in the trigger guard than what was before, which should ultimately give you a little bit more room to put your finger in. One thing to make note of if you guys go ahead and try to do something like this is if you do have the Magwell grip, I did notice that since it wasn't a flat trigger guard along the bottom here, it did come down now at an angle. The NWG or Magwell grip here had to be dremeled on the inside so it would allow for more spacing for that trigger guard that now comes down. It was a real tight fit to begin with that Magwell grip. So with that new trigger guard on there, it was next to impossible to slip it over without, again, modifying that Magwell grip to provide a little bit more space to get that trigger guard buttoned in there. But like I said, I used a regular file, and then I kind of finished it up with a Dremel tool just to sand away a lot of the plastic on that Magwell grip to get enough space. Be real careful with that when you are doing it, though, if you do have to do that, as where you have to sand away at the Magwell grip is right around this screw housing. So if you go too far, you're going to break right through into that screw housing, which isn't going to do you any good. So just be real careful with that. Ultimately, though, it wasn't a big deal. It took me about 15 minutes just to brush that up, get it fixed up to modified to work in there. So that's everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks.